Monday, everybody, and welcome into the Grand Looking Mac podcast presented by Ingles and a Merry Christmas week. Mac, there are positive things to talk about
That's
in
right.
this life, but we need to get into these games. And of course, Mac is recording this in the GFW airport. So if there are some glitches or something, please excuse that. But I think we'll be fine. Mac, let's dive into Clemson, Texas. Number 5, Texas beats number 12, Clemson 38-24. We were both there. So why don't you give me your initial thoughts? You were doing TV. You allowed me to come on television, which is very nice. But just give me your initial thoughts of what we saw, what went down.
Well, I actually have to start here, KG. Are you going to take EJ Manuel's advice and submit a work day? I think our leadership was sweating when that came up. Or are you just going to kind of, be excited about, coming on as a fan? You're like a celebrity guest picker almost.
I was there in a fan capacity, so no, I appreciate my job too much to ruffle any feathers. But I
Good
really
play.
did appreciate you guys having me on. It was really fun to sit up there and talk football with two legends, Taylor Tannenbaum and EJ Manuel. Oh, and you were there, Matt, too.
That's right.
So
That's
that
right.
was nice.
That's right. It was a good time. It was a good time. It was fun. I thought you held your own and did really good with the great knowledge that you have. Everybody was very impressed. So I think you elevated the broadcast and very grateful for you joining us there on that great time. It was fun. And Austin was great. This was my first time in your home city. Got some great food, some unbelievable memories, some really, really cool stuff. Terry Black's is just unbelievable. If you haven't been, you gotta go. The food was fantastic. They took care of us. It was an experience. EJ Manuel's like, I feel like I'm in the league again. This is great. I feel like I'm in the NFL. We literally got there, had a table ready, sat down within 2-3 minutes, had all the food in the world put on our table there, which was so much fun. It was really, really great. And then, just the game day experience. I've never seen DKR before. I've never been to that place, and it was amazing. The upgrade to the kind of end zone with the jumbotron and all that was awesome. I wish I would have been able to see the weight room and the facilities, but I get it. It's business, and I'm in enemy territory, or I'm the enemy in their territory, and so I would have loved to have seen all that because I know Texas is just unbelievable. But the experience was great. The fans were awesome. 100,000 plus strong was cool. Just to see the magnitude of it. And then, the game itself was interesting. It really was. I thought that the hardest part of the day for Clemson truly was going to be offensively, moving the ball and being able to do their thing. And first drive, they walked down and huge drive, long drive, and executed really, really well, getting into the end zone and ultimately scoring a touchdown. I'm kind of looking around like, here we go. This is going to be great. And then Texas subsequently does the exact same thing, marches down the field and just big runs. I mean, there was a 3rd and 10 and they ran for it and got it. I was just like, this might not be good if that's kind of the way the day is going to go. And so, kind of seeing that, and then Clemson go through this weird struggle area where they couldn't do anything. They couldn't get it going. Give credit, to Texas, keeping them out of the end zone, keeping them from being able to move the ball for a majority of, the second quarter there. I was really impressed, by Texas and them standing tall, and really thought everything that we kind of imagined in regards to the tight end being huge. Can you get Quinn Ewers off the spot? Which the answer most of the night was no. I did not think they'd be able to run the ball like that, though. They really hadn't done that all year. And then to be able to do it against this porous defense. I mean, we could have a whole episode on the defense, KG. And just the inconsistencies that we've seen from the Clemson defense all year. But I will finish with this, and I'm going to stop talking a little bit here. Cade Klubnik is so good. He is so for real. And for him to go into that environment, his hometown, and play like that was very impressive. That SEC defense, that Texas defense hadn't given up more than 230 passing yards all year. He went 100 over that. They gave up 4 passing touchdowns all year. He almost doubled that himself through the air. So I was blown away by that. It's unfortunate that, Clemson kind of wasted this offense with such a bad defense, but, things will maybe change. Who knows? And, 2025, big picture, really bright for the Tigers. We'll talk about that more, I'm sure.
Yeah, Mac, I mean, that was my overall kind of feeling leaving the stadium was 2025, I think, has a chance to be really special for Clemson. Now, you fix the offense, right? That's what we've all been complaining about for the last couple of years. But then the defense suffered. And, you wasted some incredible defenses on some bad offenses over the last couple of years. So you got to get that defense right. And I want to talk about the defense, but big picture wise, Mac, if you're a Clemson fan, you went into DKR, into Texas, number 5 team in the country, only losses to Georgia, etc. And in a down year, you were within a touchdown in the fourth quarter. Like, I think there's a lot of positives to be taken from that. Overall, and I know Clemson made a late push, but you look at the numbers in this game, total yards very similar, first down similar, 1 touchdown each. Like, you weren't outclassed, and I think that's one of the biggest takeaways in a year where, fans were frustrated with this team. Like, fans understand that this team did not reach its potential, but in a down year were able to go into Texas and have a very good showing. Obviously, the defense, Mac, is the point of question. And we talked about this, right? The rush defense was very suspect, and we knew Texas had some really good running backs. Wisner and Blue, the combination of those guys, and Wisner was just seeing him in person. I mean, he's really good. And the O-line was very good with blanks and all that. So we knew the rush defense would be a problem. I'm not sure I thought 300 yards problem, but it was a significant problem. And I did feel like the defense bowed up a bit in the second half. Like, it felt like they were being pushed off the ball in the first half. Like, even when
they for sure were.
When Clemson tackled, they were going backwards, like that kind of thing. The second half, good adjustment, but still, I mean, we all know the massive rushing touchdown to start the fourth quarter kind of sealed the game when Clemson cut it to 1 touchdown. And Mac, something that people didn't see on television, and this is the hidden factor that you don't take into account in the box score. Right before Texas had that long rushing touchdown, Matthew McConaughey led the Texas fight cheer. So when you don't account for the McConaughey factor, that can be an issue. And Mac, I was shocked too, just a sidebar. I did not realize that Matthew McConaughey runs out with the team. I was just like, what is happening? But I guess he's a minister of culture. That's what you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you have 2 live mascots like that, you've got to make sure both feel like they are very much implemented in the game. 2 things there, and I'll start with the Matthew McConaughey thing. I really wanted to meet him. I wanted to say hello, do his thing. But, with our show, like, we go right up to kickoff. So it's hard to do anything pregame when that's kind of the necessary time to do that. So we get down there, I sprint down, and this was right as the teams were about to run out. So it was good timing. And I was looking around like, where's Matthew? Where is he? Got to say hey. And I don't see him anywhere. I'd seen him all pregame. And then, as you said, I kind of stopped, waited for Texas to run out, and then here he comes. Da, 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 da. Coolest dude in the stadium. And I'm just like, well, all right, there's that. Kind of missed that opportunity there. So, I think it's one of those things that I just wish I would have seen him. I wish I would have met him. And then I was walking over, like I had to get back upstairs for TV. The game's over. I was walking. I was like, all right, I'm going to just go shake his hand real quick. As soon as I round the corner to go on Texas's sideline, they break off like another 20-yard run. I'm like, all right, I'm going upstairs. I'm sick of this. I'm done. So I missed my opportunity. And then to go back to the other big, long, nasty run that you just brought up, the 77-yarder, the Clemson sideline. Let me just give you a little behind-the-scenes look here. We're all kind of looking at each other like, oh, man. 1 score. Here we go. We've got a chance. Defense, just get a stop right here. We got it. I literally look at my father-in-law, Bill Smith. I said, we got this. Here we go. Boom. 77 yards to the house. So it's my fault. It's my fault for being just a little confident for a second there. But it was a shame. And, I think it's interesting too. There's so many ways. I mean, we're not going to spend a ton of time here. I'm in an airport. You got to go see your family. But there's a ton of things where you just look at where Clemson is at this point, and you don't have your number 1 running back who's been the guy all year. I mean, Phil Moffitt was so hurt. He played like 4 plays. And so you're playing with your hand behind your back there. Then you don't have your number 2, who's very excited. Everybody thought was going to be great. You've got Adam Randall, who's been a running back for a week. You've got, Keith Adams Jr. coming in for a couple plays, a true freshman coming in for a couple plays. And so I thought that it would be interesting just to see full strength. What does that look like? I know everyone's dealing with injuries and things of that nature, but for Clemson to do what they did, given the circumstances where Texas knew every single play, these guys have to throw. it makes it that more impressive. So, it's just one of those things. They did well, and just come up a little short in a down year, making a college football playoff. Not bad for little old Clemson.
And Mac, let's add on to that. Cade Klubnik is a dog. Like Cade Klubnik absolutely kept Clemson in that football game, doing it in a very hostile environment. The place was very loud, bunch of fans. Doing it in his hometown, so he's feeling even more pressure, right? And then doing it without a run game. Like, I mean, Clemson in that goal line stand after the Jaden Blue touchdown can't even really run the ball. It's just tough. I went to the game with my dad, and he looked at me and goes, "Run the ball." I go, "Dad, it's a fourth-string running back and a wide receiver who literally just started playing running back like 4 days ago." So, it is what it is. But I thought
On that note, real quick, KG, the goal line deal, I would have loved to have seen a little bit more innovation from Clemson, like leading into it. Like you had 2 weeks to know,
that you're
okay,
not going to.
Maffa's probably not going to be the guy. Like we're probably not going to have him really ready, especially goal line hammer situations. I would have loved to have seen Sammy Brown as a running back who played running back in high school, kind of get that fullback short yardage look. And I get it, young guy, and maybe he's not what I thought, but I've seen plenty of high school film. That guy can run the football, and he's big. He's big and strong, and maybe running back's not even the issue. A guard got blown up. I mean, the running back got hit in the backfield. Running back got hit by safeties coming free a couple of times. But you just think, what if? And that, it is a shame kind of seeing that deal right there.
Yeah, maybe a little more brainstorm action in those goal line situations.
He had a great game too. Yeah, he had a great game though.
He did. And these receivers, I mean, the receiving core is back. These receivers are making plays. And I think we have to reiterate just how good the Texas pass defense had been. Like you said, giving up only 4 passing touchdowns all season. And Cade Klubnik absolutely tore them up. 336, 3 touchdowns. He had the one pick that was tipped. And then, so talk about bright future. Talk about giving Klubnik all the credit because he balled out. I would like to mention the wide receivers, and I would like to mention TJ Moore. TJ Moore, he's been great all year. Him and Wesco both. Wesco also made some really good plays. Antonio Williams, Brennan Stool. But this was such a breakout game for TJ Moore. So just so much to build on there as Clemson heads into next season. And fun fact, the Tigers are using the portal a little bit. So, I mean, who knows what 2025 could look like.
Yeah, we love to see that. I think to touch on the receivers, and then I want to talk about a thought that I had. Tim Beret also had this, and see if you thought about this or any form or fashion there. But those receivers are so good. I mean, it's the plays, the body control. I mean, the subtle adjustment like of TJ Moore. He wasn't pushing off because he didn't extend. Like that's a big difference. And maybe I'd say that if it was another team, maybe not. Who knows? But just the way that he does that as a baby, I mean, as a true freshman, is so impressive. The body control from Wesco and Antonio Williams, toe tapping on the sideline, getting in some really big catches there. And then just the ability for Cade to get it to him. I mean, he looked so confident down the stretch throwing the football. I mean, it was fun. It was really fun. And it gets you that much more excited, for this next season. And obviously, you think you keep everybody together. I hope. I mean, it's a weird world. Who knows? But if that band gets back together, it's going to be scary to see. Here's kind of what I was thinking, KG. This year, as now that it's over and you kind of see the whole body of work, it reminds me of 2011 so much, my true freshman year. You lose 4 games, you win 10, you lose to the Gamecocks, you win the ACC, you lose the bowl game because of poor defensive performance. You have 2 superstar freshmen, Sammy Watkins, Tron Peak, versus these guys now. You have a young up-and-coming quarterback who's electric and balling. It's very eerily similar, kind of that. And the run that Clemson went on post that. So it's going to be fascinating just to see what changes are made, because there was some stuff that came with 2011 too that changed the course of Clemson's kind of future and the things they did, and just what does the team look like? What does roster retention look like? Does Clemson go in the portal anymore? What young guys are going to step up next year? So there's some fascinating things that from today to August are going to be extremely intriguing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's a very interesting parallel there, Eric McLean. All right, let's get on to a little Penn State SMU. Let's talk about what happened in Happy Valley. We got to. Number 6, Penn State beats number 11 SMU 38-10. Mac, I don't think this could have gone worse for SMU. They ended up only giving up 38. So maybe, the score doesn't look as terrible as it was. But we saw, here's the way I would explain it. We saw Duke Kevin Jennings, but you weren't playing Duke. I mean, that's basically what it was, right? Like these turnovers from KJ, and he still made some plays in the game. Like he still showed how talented he is. But the turnovers have been a point of concern for Kevin Jennings his whole career. I mean, going back to when there was a QB battle in camp this year for SMU, if you throw 2 pick sixes and 3 total picks in Happy Valley, I'm sure that no team has ever won in Happy Valley doing that, Mac. So I know there's stuff to talk about in this game beyond that. I still thought at times SMU looked good. I thought their speed looked effective. But obviously at the lines of scrimmage, that was still an issue. I mean, Penn State and Tyler Warren, Penn State still played well. I want to give Penn State all the credit. But those turnovers were absolutely killer for SMU.
Yeah. Yeah, they were. And, it's fascinating, really, on all accounts. And I know that, Coach Lashley took credit for some of those interceptions. And then Kevin Jennings, replied and was like, he didn't have the ball in his hands. I did. Like, I was the one that, kind of threw him. And you love that. You love for everybody to have each other's backs and to, be a family and a team, whatever. You don't want anybody getting thrown under a bus. But, I thought there were just fascinating things that happen. And it starts with that first drive. You get a 3-and-out. Awesome. Your defense does great. You march down the field. It's 4th and 1 and you go for it. Like here's the deal. If you're down, like Clemson was down, it's terrible. Go ahead.
Kevin Jennings could run for the first down and he threw it.
Right. Right. Well, it's a full, there's three what ifs. And if you just take the points, who knows what happens? You don't give them all kinds of momentum. You don't get that crowd immediately back in it. But if you do just run for it, which he could have stuck the ball, he was that close. He could have stuck the ball out, got the first down. Who knows what happens? If the ball, it wasn't a good ball. It wasn't a terrible ball. Catch the ball, score a touchdown, score, and KJ throw a better pass. So there's just all these different things of what if, that then goes to snowball into 14 points by your quarterback going the other way. And those passes were bad. I mean, it just was not good. And he just looked out of his element. It's a shame that, at the highest point, but that's what we were concerned about. I was concerned about the weather. I was concerned about the atmosphere and the crowd and how much that would play a factor. Cause that's a big deal. People, if you've never done it, if you've never been to a game of that magnitude, even as a fan, you don't understand how different that is and how much the crowd can play a piece of it. And I do think it's unfortunate too, because the SMU defense for 90% of the game played very well. I mean, they played relatively lights out. And so it's just that it's part of it. It's part of playoff football. And the funny thing to me is, obviously that's the noon game and it's coming off the Indiana game. So Indiana, SMU, 2 teams that people are like, oh my gosh, they shouldn't be in this and that. And then of course that happens to them. And then KG, I see Tennessee get run out of the building, totally embarrassed, spend all this money, all those fans go, and those guys got whooped. Terrible. And not a peep. And I even hear on the broadcast, well, this isn't the Tennessee defense we're used to seeing. Well, no duh, because they got curb stomped by these guys. So it's one of those things where this happens. They're truly, every given year, there's maybe 4 teams, probably only 2 or 1 that are that good. And this is what happens. It happens in the NFL in the first round. It happens in college football in the first round. So do I think there's some ways we can fix this bracket in this playoff? Sure. Sure I do. But at the end of the day, this is going to happen. Football's hard, and it's hard to win, and it's hard to be consistent.
'Twas the day before Christmas, and at the North Pole, the elves were all gleeful, mind, body, and soul. From making to baking, content as you please, when off in the distance they heard a loud sneeze.
Hello, I'm in need of normal human cold medicine. Hello, I'm looking for normal human chicken noodle soup.
And Santa's a go with Ingles to thank. Merry Christmas from Ingles.
And I kind of just wanted people to stop whining. Especially if you were one of us and you were at that Clemson, Texas game. That was electric. Like, that was so much fun. That was a great
Exactly.
sport.
It was awesome.
Notre Dame looked electric. Obviously, Happy Valley looked electric. I mean, and you look at the box score for Penn State SMU. If you just look at that, it doesn't really look like SMU got outclassed. I mean, obviously the turnovers were a huge issue. But Mac, even just one more specific thing about the game, even after the 2 pick sixes, right? And you're down 14-0, it's 2nd and goal. And he throws it.
Right. Right.
Like, if you score there,
Yeah.
what are we talking about?
Right.
It just was so frustrating to watch. And obviously, you're going to need to see a lot of growth mentally getting rid of this. Yeah. Because he's still, I'm rewatching that game because I was out tailgating. And still some incredible plays, so you just got to harness it a little more if you're SMU and Kevin Jennings. But obviously, Mac, an incredible year for SMU to make the playoff in their first year in the ACC. We will have so much more SMU coverage coming this offseason, talking about all sorts of things. Did you see, I would like to bring this up because my husband found this too. Did you see that the, State College airport was so overwhelmed with PJs that other PJs had to land an hour away, and one of those was our dear friend Strong, and he had to be like over to the state.
Unbelievable. Well, it's funny. If I would have seen that earlier, I would have FaceTime Bill and said, "Go back home. Do not come. It's not worth it. It's not worth it." Our guy Billy and Body was on that bus. Bryson DeChambeau, friend of the show, on that bus. Craig James. I mean, it's just like, I saw that picture and I was like, oh no, they don't even know what's about to happen.
It was awesome though. And I think it just shows, obviously, the excitement we saw from SMU fans. I'll put this in a very classy way, the monetary support and ability of SMU fans. We'll see these guys back. And, of course, we'll see what happens in the portal. I think that'll all be interesting in the offseason. But, Mac, I thought it was, even with the blowouts, especially being at Clemson, Texas, which was by far the best game, I thought it was so much fun. I thought Texas fans were great. Want to give them credit. No, everyone was super nice. I was sitting in the Texas section in my grandpa's old seats, and I didn't see another Clemson fan for miles. So I was trying to be, cheer, but be respectful. So it was fun. It was a good time. The drone show, I have to say, the drone show at DKR.
Was it cool? From our angle, we couldn't see it very well. It was like we were looking straight up at it. We couldn't see it.
Like, I still don't understand how they did that. It was just mind blowing. I'll just say, Mac, I think the DKR experience has gotten a lot better in the SEC versus the Big 12. It was fun. They did a great job.
You got to keep up. You got to keep up and prove how much it means.
A Merry Christmas to everybody and Happy Holidays who watched our show this year. We had our best year yet by far, and we just appreciate you all very much. Please support our sponsors, Roback. Use our code GMPOD, Underdog Fantasy. Oh, Matt, wait. Can you please just give us a quick breakdown of what happened to you on Underdog Fantasy? Very quickly.
Yo, guys, I say this all the time. You're just one good pick away from financial freedom. I always say that. I was literally one pick away from I would have left the country, would have bought an island. I mean, that's how close we were. 7 of 8. 7. Let me just pull it up so I can just read these to y'all, because this was crazy. When I did it, I was like, there's no way this is happening. All right, here we go. Line by line. Phil Maffa, under 50 yards. I didn't even think he was going to play. Knew that was a grand slam. Wisner, touchdown. He had 2 of them. I said higher. He did that. Jake Brenningstool, higher than 26 passing yards. Knew that was going to be a grand slam. Antonio Williams, touchdown. Little dicey. This was going to be really difficult. Those guys give up 4 all year. Boom. He did it. First touchdown of the game. Quentin Ewers, interception. This guy's going to throw you the ball. I knew that was going to happen. Boom. Interception. TJ Moore, touchdown. Oh, dicey. Got it. Touchdown. Cade Klubnik, over 208. I thought that was the easiest pick of the day. 208 was crazy. This dude's going to throw the football. He had 336. Most ever thrown against Texas defense this year. Higher. So that's 7 of 7. Bryant Wesco, 20-yard reception. I said higher. He's going to hit a grand slam. The longest he had was 12. Brutal. It would have been thousands of dollars, guys. And I missed it. But it's all good. It's the easiest place to play. Go take your money. There's a bunch of bowl games and put it into an account. Use our code GMPOD. We'll get you up to $1,000 in bonus cash. And hopefully, you can have something a little bit better than I did. And you can have a great Christmas.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I feel for you. But you know what? It's okay. Hopefully you'll get some good gifts on Christmas to make up for your lack of thousands of
That's
dollars.
right.
And make sure you guys, if you're in the Carolinas, if you're in the upstate, wherever, Ingles, they're your spot. They're your spot for anything you need Christmas dinner-wise. I'm in Texas, unfortunately, so I can't use Ingles, but I'm making my gluten-free mac and cheese bake. And I wish I was in Ingles, but I would get all my ingredients there if I was in Ingles. Can't wait.
Hypothetically.
Thanks to everybody for this year. It's been awesome.
It has been. It's been so much fun. We continue to need y'all's support, your help. We appreciate it. Jump over to YouTube, subscribe, jump on the channel, leave some comments. Tell us what you thought about these 2 playoff games. And do you want any changes? What do you think? What do you think of the performance? All that. I'm sure we'll touch on that throughout the year and as this thing wraps up. But that's it from us. Appreciate you guys always. Until next time, we'll see y'all.